Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The name of Ruth Bader Ginsburg rattled around in the mind of Sherry Finn, coming in the form of a question asked by her nephew. I wish I could tell you that the folks at DC Home had weathered the last few months, but we both know that would be a pipe dream. And we don't live in anyone's idea of a dream. Not any good person, at least. Not this year. Sorry. Sherry and Sean were staying in a motel somewhere east of Anacostia, where Sherry had flirted them into 3 nights, and Sherry would pay tomorrow, which is when Sherry and Sean would skip out. QED and say la vie. And Sean hadn't seen a TV in a while, so as you might expect from a kid his age whose phone had been dead for nearly a week, after plugging it in, he switched on the TV. And Sherry heard him say the words, "Isn't Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court or something?" And Sherry's heart stopped. She was standing at the bathroom sink, washing some of her fine washables, and her heart just stopped. And she didn't want to reply because somehow she knew. And he said the words, "Because I think she's dead." And like so many others across what used to be one nation, under an arguably not existing or existing, but clearly not existing. I mean, look at the news. You pray to that? Honestly? Anyway, under God, Sherry Finn's heart broke. And you may be wondering how I knew that, how I knew that her heart broke just at that moment. I can tell you that because at that moment, my wife's heart broke. And my wife is the finest person I know. And the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg broke her heart. And it broke my heart. And then the texts started coming in. And the outpouring in social media. Good people, were heartbroken by the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Because as fine a person as Ruth Bader Ginsburg was, she also represented one of 3 steps Trump's Republican Party stands from absolute power. The other 2 steps are named Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan. But those were both younger and in better health than Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We all knew that Ginsburg was the linchpin holding together the strands of a once great nation we knew as the United States of America. Sherry Finn had been politically ignorant for a long time. She had that luxury. Then, the bar, followed by the shutdown, followed by homelessness, had woke her up. After that, working at WGNO for all those months, she got to know the Republican playbook, as anyone who listens can do. She understood what the Republican Party had become under Trump. And standing there in that sink, understanding what Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death meant. Well, it meant that Trump and McConnell will ram in a justice just as corrupt as they, probably someone's pool boy. Then the Republicans hold all three branches of government. What can't they do? Camps for all non-orange? Sure, why not? The Republicans can use the same tacky base Trump indulges in far too often. Take away a woman's right to her own body? Of course. Take away all of women's rights? Why not? And there go the blacks and the gays. And it's the last day of June 1934, and Trump decides he doesn't want there to be Democrats anymore, or Muslims, or anyone he doesn't like. The United States is heading down a road far darker than anyone in my lifetime has seen or foreseen. And this has been perpetrated by the worst of us. And the only reason this has happened, the only way we have of stopping this from happening, is if we all rise up together. Don't wait until the election, because there might not be one. Make your voice heard. Call your representatives. March. Demand the rights of the Constitution and the promise of liberty before they are taken from you. And you find your child in a cage and your wife forced sterilization. This is not the time for apathy. Apathy is surrender, and surrender is death. Listen, I'm just a writer. I write novels. I wrote a pretty decent book on ethics once. I don't have the platform far more eloquent people will have when they speak out against the atrocities against our nation that we will soon see perpetrated by the Republicans. But just like you, just like Sherry, just like Sean, just like anyone with a conscience and some critical thought, I can't help but see it. It's inevitable. And so then must we be. I implore you with my one voice, care. Display some compassion. Find whatever motivates you toward good and empathy. And I, like Sean and Sherry and my wife and so many others across the country, we will continue to hold out hope for a place that we once called America. Welcome to Trumpistan. Hope you paid your bill.